Hi everyone.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
ಏನ್ ಜೋಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫುಲ್ ಡಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Come. Switch on your videos fast.
Yes.
Okay. First, I'll just screen share the question and the answer for about a few minutes, so that for the benefit of all the YouTube new viewers who have not seen the question paper and the answer, I'll just screen share. 1 second. Yes, Deepa, can you just confirm if both the answer and this both is seen anta when I'm shifting my screen?
Fine, sir. I can do that.
Yes, thank you. Yes. So this was the question paper that you guys have hopefully gone through. Like as we always say, read it from the start. Okay, don't miss a single word of the question paper when it is given, and don't waste your time during those 15 minutes looking here and there. Okay, so yes, this was a question paper. I just glanced through it. I'll just scroll through it for the benefit of all the YouTube viewers. Yes. Yes, this was the question paper. Following is the answer for the same. Don't look, I mean, you guys don't worry. I will discuss each and every answer, okay, and the evaluation. I'm just for future reference, if anybody wants to refer, they can take the screenshots. Yes. Okay. Let's start. All right. Now. ಏನು ಶ್ರೇಯಾ ಫುಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಈಸಿ ಪೇಪರ್?
I was thinking what all might go wrong ಅಂತ.
ಹೌದಾ? ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಇವಾಗ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ನಾವು ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಇದು ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡನ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ರಾಂಗ್ ಬಿಡಿ, ರಾಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್. ಆಲ್ ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್, ಓಕೆ, ನೋ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪೇಪರ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಂತ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, you never know, your exam could be the first exam where they change the pattern, alva? So always read the starting. Okay, at the starting from the first word till the last word you should always read. Okay, yes. So like they have told you, you have to write question 1 is compulsory, and then you have to write any 4 of the remaining 5 questions, correct? Question 1 compulsory, and then in caps we always say don't start reading your question paper from question 1. Whether you write question 1 first or not is, we'll come to that later, but don't start from question 1. Always start from question 6, especially in costing, because question 6 theory irutte, and more or less we've been telling you, right? So prepare well for theory. So question 6 in the start reading. Okay, and then you analyze in those 15 minutes what will be your order of questions, correct? So a 15 minutes very crucial, especially for costing, because costing lengthy paper irutte, most of them will not be able to complete the paper anta alva. So based on how you set your paper, very important, you should never pick the toughest question in the start, because starting al pace kammi irutte, right? Ene Shreya ade madidini, no toughest question first madidya? Never write the toughest question first. Starting easy question you should start. Okay, so preferably if you're well prepared with theory question in costing is the best for you to start off with. Yakandre adu easy agirutte, you can write, or either question 6, or if question 1 nowadays is reasonably easy. For example, even today's question paper, I think very easy, no tricky questions were there much. So if you think you're comfortable with question 1, you could have started with question 1, but don't read the question 1 first. That I still stand by, because sometimes bones are there, you'll get scared, right? So question 6 in the start madi ododu, then you choose the order of question, very important. How your order should be: first easy. Okay, first 2 questions, keep it reasonably easy questions. In between, if you want, maybe a little standard or lengthy this thing. Then again in the end, little easier questions, because ad pace hange irutte. Okay, start al matte if you have little less time, easier question idre bega solve madak agutte. Artha agta idya? Yes, these tips. And in costing especially, weightage is given to the final answers, so not just for working notes, right? So accounts alladru ನೀವು ಅರ್ಧ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ okay, but weightage more is given to the final answer. So make sure that you get the final answer in all questions. Also, it is better if I have written all 5 questions rather than say I've written only 3 questions. 3 questions are 100 marks per badlu. If I get say 70% in all the 5 questions, is better. Got it? You'll score much better. So don't at the time, you have to time your questions, right? So you've got how many? 3 hours time. So in 3 hours time, for each question, what is the time you're allotting? Adanna, as and when that time is over, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes here and there, depending on easy or tough question. But after that time cuts off, my suggestion is you move on to the next question. Okay, my suggestion is move on to the next question, and ensure you write for you attempt all the questions. Okay, with that I'll start. Yes, so first question. Now whether which question is is standard, tough and all that, I will come to later, as in when the question comes. Okay, as of now, at least question 1 is pretty easy, reasonably easy, I felt. Okay, very easy and direct. I think 20 on 20 you can score easily on this. Let's see how many of you score. You can evaluate on your own, but remember that this marks is not telling you whether you will pass or fail. It is just for you to get used to writing the question paper. Okay, don't worry. You study, and those last 2 days also, again, when you study and then do it, you will definitely score better. Okay, this is just for you to know what mistakes you are doing, so that you correct it and don't do it in your final exam. Okay, all right. So a factory produces two products, ghee and cream, from a single process. The joint processing cost during a month are, they've given all the joint processing costs. Sales is given 200 and 600. Cream sales is also given. Okay. Apportion joint cost on the basis of physical quantity of each product, contribution margin method, and determine the profit and loss under both the methods. Okay. So with this, the answer first, see, we have to find out what the total joint cost is, because it's total kottilla, correct? But how, in what way do you present? Because they have asked contribution margin method, which means what? You need to know what is the fixed cost and the variable cost, yes or no? Correct. So your presentation of the joint cost should be accordingly, right? So that is why first you will write total variable cost, how much you need to find out, total fixed, total variable cost, then you add fixed overheads to it, and then find out what's the total joint cost. I hope that is clear. Okay. All right. In screen area is the size kafi.
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
So okay. So this is 1,67,200. Okay. So the main question, what they've not asked you to compute what the joint cost is, correct? They've asked you to find physical quantity of each product, contribution margin method, and determine profit and loss under both the methods. Okay. So first, apportionment of joint cost. Apportionment of joint cost under physical unit quantity method. How do you do physical quantity? Very simple. Total joint cost 1,67,200 divided by the physical quantity 200 plus 240 into 200 and 240 respectively. If you've got these two answers correct, that is 76,000 and 91,200, give 1 mark for this total. For all this entire thing, 1 mark. Okay. Physical quantity basis mele correct answer bandidre matra. If you've got both answers correct, then 1 mark for this. Okay. Next, apportionment of joint cost on the basis of contribution margin method. On the basis of contribution margin method. Under this, again, variable cost on the basis of physical units. Variable cost is always based on physical units. Fixed cost alone is based on contribution margin. Fixed cost alone is based on contribution margin. Okay. So again here, how do you do this? 1,03,200 is my variable cost, where you have found it on top is 1,03,200. 1,03,200 divided by, based on my physical units, you bifurcate and find out what my total variable cost is. Same way, contribution margin. So you find out what my contribution is. How do I find out what my contribution is? Sales minus variable cost is my contribution. Okay. Sales minus variable cost is my contribution. Find out what my contribution is. Since this is negative, since my contribution is negative, fixed cost will not get allocated here. Entire fixed cost will be apportioned to product ghee only. Okay. Entire fixed cost will get apportioned to product ghee only. Find out what's the total apportioned cost by adding these two. Okay. If you've got this right, then give 1 mark for this and 1 more mark for the note on this. Why 64,000 is apportioned only to product ghee or cream and not to the other. Okay. 1 mark you give for final answer, total apportioned cost. Okay. And 1 mark for this note. Clear? Then profit or loss under physical units method, find out what the sales value you found out. Apportioned cost is on top. You put that here and then find out what's the profit or loss. For this, profit under physical quantity 1 mark, profit or loss under contribution margin 1 mark. Okay. 44,000 here and 43,200 loss here. 9,091 profit here, 8,291 loss here. I hope this is clear. Yes. Okay. So like you see here, more weightage is given on what the final answer is in each sub question. Correct. Sub question ge answer correct idre 1 mark sigutte. Yes, steps gu sigutte illa anta helala nanu. But weightage is lesser in costing. Okay. Yes. Next. Right. Zee Limited manufactures pistons used in car engines. As per the study conducted by the Auto Parts Association, there will be a demand of 80 million pistons in the coming year. A Limited is expected to have a market share of almost 2.15% of the total market demand of the pistons in the coming year. It is estimated that it costs 2.5 rupees, 2.5 as inventory holding cost per piston per month, and that the setup cost per run of piston manufacture is rupees 4,500. Compute the optimum run size. Okay, the batch EBQ. Right, assuming that the company has a policy of manufacturing 20,000 pistons per run, right? Calculate how much extra cost the company would be incurring as compared to the optimum run as suggested. Okay, so first Now, yes. First, compute what the EBQ is, right? Formula. I hope you guys have written that formula. 2 into annual demand into, yes, what is the difference between that and this? Between your normal EOQ and EBQ, here you'll got setup cost, right? That is the difference here. Okay. 2 into A annual demand. So find out what the annual demand is. 2.15 into EBQ divided by per annum, right? This should be per annum. So multiply into 12. Okay. If you've got this answer right, okay, first sub question right, 22,716, you give 2 marks to this. Right, 22,716, you give 2 marks. Pretty easy it is. I hope many of them would have got it right. 22,716, 2 marks. Okay. Next, calculation of total cost of setup and inventory holding, right? Yes. Calculation of total cost of setup and inventory holding. Here, you find out what is the number of setups first, right? 17,20,000 divided by 20,000 and 17,20,000 divided by 22,716. What is 22,716? You found out here, right? EBQ. They're ask you to find out the cost difference when it is 20,000 and 22,716. Find out what the setup cost, right? 76 and then 4,000, 86 into 4,500, 76 into 4,500. Setup cost is 4,500 per setup cost is 4,500, multiply into number of setups. That is my total setup cost. Inventory holding cost you find out, that is 20,000 here, 22,716 here, multiply into carrying cost per unit per annum divided by 2. Okay, this you find out 3 lakh 40. Find out total will be 6,87, 6,82, 740, 4,260. If you got this 4,260, this will be 2 marks. Okay, 2 aita. If you've got all these formulas right, for the formulas you give 1 mark. Okay, formulas, that is this E to E formulas and mainly this EBQ form. Formulas are ready to give 1 mark. Our main answer is 2 marks. Next. A machine costing 10 lakhs was purchased on 1st April 2021. The expected life of the machine is 10 years. At the end of this period, its scrap value is likely to be 10,000. The total cost of all the machines, including new one, was 90 lakhs. The other information is given as follows. Working hours for the machine for the year was 4,200, including 200 non-productive hours. Repairs and maintenance for the new machine during the year was 6,000. Insurance premium was paid 9,000 and all this. Okay. So the answer, okay. Standing charges, correct? Standing charges only. Find out how much is the standing charges. So 9,000 divided by 9 into 1. Why? Because 9 machines into 1. So 1,000 barutte. So rent it will be 2,880. Okay. Valuation of this. Working note of effective hours. This working note, if you have done 4,200 minus 200 by 4,000, if you got this, give 1 mark for this. Okay. All right. Main answer is 57.22. Right. And this is 0.97. 0.97, you know, either variable standing charges, fixed cost, you do it in total and then divide it by the number of hours. Adu 0.97 barutte. Okay, here the working for the 3,800 divided by 4,000 hours, 0.97. If you got 0.97, then give 1 mark for that. Okay. And then if you got all these other numbers also right, you give 1 mark for that. That is 30, 24.75 and this 1.5. Final answer ge 2 marks. Machine hour rate. Machine hour rate ke 2 marks. Okay. All right. Next. Is the notional profit and estimated profit. Very simple question, right? Notional profit and estimated profit. They asked you to compare. They've given you total expenditure to date, future expenditure, everything. Formula go easier you can score. Okay. Notional profit answer if you've got it right. Notional profit answer 2 marks. Okay. That is value of work certified less cost of work certified. 1,19,800. Give 2 marks for this. Okay. Estimated profit, if you've got the right answer, give 3 marks for this. Okay. If you've got the formulas right, okay, if you say your answers are not right, only formulas are right, both the formulas bandidre 1 mark, 2 marks you can use. out of 5. Okay, actually 1 mark only I would have given, but anyway, you third in on the extra. Okay, main answer is 1,19,800 notional profit and estimated profit 1,22,000. Value of work certified less cost of work certified 4,18,600, 3,69,800. Contract price, what is estimated profit on the total contract? Right? So contract price minus total cost, you have to find out. This cost of work to date, estimated further expenditure to complete the contract. This is the answer. Okay. With this setting, we complete the first question for 20 marks. Right. Next. Question 2. So from now onwards, it is if you have attempted this question only, then it will come, right? I think question 1 was compulsory, and I hope everyone has answered it. Okay. Following information is available regarding process A. So process A, they've given all the data: production record, cost records, cost during the month. Presuming that average method of inventory is prepared, prepare statement of EOQ, statement showing cost for each element, statement of apportionment of cost, and process account for process A. Okay, this is the answer. Next. So okay, statement of equivalent production, average cost method. Okay, equivalent production, so units input quoted particulars output. So 28,000 and 12,000. 28,000 is completed, 12,000 is work in progress. All right, and materials 100%, labor is 33 1/3, that is for WIP, and then overheads is 33 1/3. If you've got this answer right, for each you can give 1 mark. Okay, each material, labor, and overheads 40, 32, 32. It bandide 1 mark each. Next, statement showing cost for each element. Right? Statement showing cost for each element. Here also same thing. Right? So cost of first work in progress is to the question, you copy paste that. Then cost incurred during the month, you get the total cost. You divide it by the equivalent units as stated above to find out the cost per equivalent unit. If you've got this right, 158, 100, 100, you give 1 mark for this. Okay. Statement of apportionment of cost, right? So got value of output transferred. This is for complete 28,000 units, right? Then this is for completed units, entire 358 you have to use. And then for each work in progress, material 158, labor 100, and then overheads 100. Multiply it, 12,000, 4,000, 4,000. Find out the total cost here. If you got this total cost right, give 2 marks to this. 127, 1,27,20,000. Give 2 marks to this. Okay. Next, process A account, nothing, whatever you have computed, just put it here as step. By completed units 28,000, by closing WIP 12,000, you 26,96,000, 1,24,000. It's here by everything. 1,24,000, 26,96,000, and then to the opening WIP, material, labor, overheads. Okay. If you've got this entire process A account right, you give 2 marks to this. Give 2 marks to this. Okay. Next, B. The following account balance and distribution of indirect charges are taken. So they have given you the production department, service department, the overhead question, right? Final requirement is to prepare overhead distribution statement to show the total overheads of production departments after reapportioning service department's overhead by using simultaneous equation method. So all questions to the nearest rupee, calculations to the nearest rupee. Okay. So production primary distribution of overheads. Okay. Yes. So this primary distribution, if you've got all the bases right, okay, all the bases, indirect material actual, indirect labor actual, supervisor salary actual, fuel and heat is radiator sections, okay, that is 2:4:6:5:3. Next, power is kilowatt hours, 7:8:6:3. Rent and rates is area, 22:20:15:12:6. Capital value of asset for insurance, 4:6:5:1:2. Canteen charges, number of employees, 6:7:12:3:2. Depreciation, again capital value of assets, 4:6:5:1:2. Got all the bases right, you give 1 mark for that. Only the bases I'm talking. Okay, bases yella right ಇದೆ 1 mark. Next, if you've got the total of all these right, okay, so production department, service departments, right? If you got this, so you give half of half mark. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 2.5 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ರೈಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ then plus half 3 marks. If everything is right, then you give 3 marks. If one right ಇದೆ one wrong ಇದ್ರೆ half of mark, so you can give for each. Okay, so x it is 9,56,000, y it is 11,72,000, z it is 15,78,000, a it is 6,29,000, b it is 3,61,000. Okay, next. Now simultaneous equation method, this you could have followed our way. Okay, how we do it, right? It's ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. Strike off and all is there. We follow, how do we do it? So anyway, if you do that, done that way or this way, it doesn't matter, the answer should match ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದು where we write a is equals to cost of that department plus 10% of the other, and then b is equals to, right, and substitute b in a and then find out what a is and then find out what b is, correct? So ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ final answer A should be 678,673, B should be 496,735. Okay, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ you give 1.5 marks, 1.5 marks each, 3 marks. Okay, A ಗೆ 1.5, B ಗೆ 1.5, 3 marks for this. Next, secondary distribution of overheads. Okay, if you've got production departments X, Y, and Z, all 3 correct, then give 1 mark for each. 12,83,786, Y do 15,74,296, Z do 18,37,918. Okay.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, in primary distribution, in basis column, if we do not write a ratio, should we deduct marks?
I suggested to write, but it is only 1 mark. No, so if you've got it, kodi parvagilla, but I would suggest you to write the ratios. Otherwise, how, on what basis are they bandid, and how do you prove? Mathematically, correct? Normally, when we write the ratios. Okay, ratios you have to write.
Yes.
Okay, next. Question 3. Okay, so 40 marks ಆಯ್ತು ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಂಗ. The following figures have been taken from the financial accounts of a manufacturing company. So the data is given, and then they've asked you to compare, prepare costing and financial profit and loss account, and reconcile the difference in profit as arrived in the 2 sets of accounts. Okay, first the costing P&L account first. Okay, illi closing stock first you have to find out. Okay, closing stock henge 41,28,000, right? Cost of the production, you find out what is this thing, 41,28,000 divided by 52,000 units. What is 52,000 units? It is the number of units produced. Okay, into 90 into 4,000, that is the closing stock of finished goods. Okay, if you have got this 3,10,154, you give 1 mark for that. Okay, you give 1 mark for that. Next, prime cost ge half mark kodi. Factor for each of these half mark, 34,40,000, 6,88,000, and then 6,49,600, 307,200 S&D. Last net profit will be the highest. That will you give 2 marks for that. Okay, so I repeat, closing stock will be 1 mark, net profit will be 2 marks, 3 marks ಆಯ್ತು. Then prime cost till half mark, factory overhead half mark, admin half mark, S&D half mark. Okay. Next, financial profit and loss account. Here there's nothing. Okay, you just have to copy paste things, right? So adiki net profit correct idre you give 2 marks, 7,08,000. Financial profit and loss account, final answer 7,08,000 banidre you give 2 marks. Next, reconciliation statement. In the reconciliation statement, okay, if you've got this total right, you give half mark. Okay, if you've got, I mean, that is 1,59,200 if you've got, and then difference is there, no? Only 345,846 if you got right, you give half mark. Final answer, profit as per costing P&L account, if that is right, you give 2 marks. Andre, if the total thing is tally, you give 2 marks. Now this, what have they given in the question? reconcile the difference in profit as arrived at in the two sets of accounts. Now, whether you go from one to the other, that doesn't matter. So finally, answer should match the step. Okay. I hope all of you are getting it. Okay. Next.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I have one doubt.
About what, ma?
Sir, question, sir.
Question, amen, we'll discuss. Marks, valuation ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನೋ doubt ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ? How to solve it?
Answer is only wrong, I feel.
ಅದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. ಅದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. We'll discuss later. Okay. Okay, next. So Mix Soap Private Limited manufactures 3 brands of soap, luxury, herbal, and beauty. The following information has been obtained. So they've asked you to prepare what? Find out the factory overhead rate of all the brands. Prepare a cost statement for the month of June, showing the various elements of cost and also the profit earned. Okay. Illi calculation of factory overhead rate. Okay. So first, this ratio is very important. 1:3:6 or 5,000:15,000:30,000. Okay. Our ratio correct ag bandidre, a ratio gi give 1 mark. Okay. Give 1 mark for this ratio. Next. You find out what is the factory overhead rate. This 0.5 there. To get that rate, you give 1 mark. 0.5, that is 80,000 divided by 6 into 6750. What is 6750? Will kottidare nodi. 6750 ratio 6 in the bantu idu ratio 6 iding bandide 5,000, 15,000 to 30,000. Okay, so 6 into 6750, 3,000, 3 into 14,000, then 1 into 1,77,500. Id madi you get 0.5. If you got this rate, you give 1 mark. The final answer, so the overhead rate will be 3, 1.5 and 0.5. If you got this right, you give 1 more mark. Okay, you give 1 more mark for that. So ratio give 1 mark, overhead rate 1 mark, final mark 1 mark. Okay, next. Then statement of cost. Okay, illi statement of cost. There works cost, if you've got it right, 47,750, 86,750, 393,750 and total. Okay, if you've got this right, you give 2 marks for this. Okay, then cost of sales, if you've got right, you give 2 marks. You see, if you've got 1 mark here, prime cost, prime cost 1 mark, works cost you give 1 mark, 2 marks there. Okay, 1 mark for prime cost, 1 mark for works cost. 448,250, 528,250. Okay, or this also should be right, but cannot be wrong. 27,500, 65,750, 3,55,000, and works cost 47,750, 86,750, 393,750. Okay, 1 mark for this, 1 mark for this. Cost of sales, you give 2 marks. Cost of sales 2 marks. Okay, final this sales final answer ge 3 marks. Sales is right, that means everything is right. Avaga 3 marks. 168,750, 2,10,000, 6,20, 998,750. Okay, next question 4. Hotel is being run in a hill station with 200 single rooms. So equivalent units adella barutte. You are required to work out the room rent chargeable per day, both during the season and the off-season month, using the foregoing information. Okay. Yes. Okay, so first is total room days in a year. This working note. Okay, this working note, if you have got it right, then you give 2 marks for this. Okay, 43,200 and 36,000 full room days. 36,000 full room days for equivalent full room days charge. Occupancy room days, normal room days, is 43,200. If you've got this right, you give 2 marks, 1 mark each. Okay. Next, extremely important is lighting charges solved in the class. Yes, I have solved this in the class. It is given in the question that lighting charges for 8 months is 110. And this E note explaining everything, if it is there, you give 1 mark for that. Okay. And if you've got these things right, ಯಾವುದು 1,05,600, 17,600 and 9,600 total lighting charges 1,32,800. Okay, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? All of them are looking full blank. Yes. What I say, ಇದೊಂದು explanation is important. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1 mark, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ 2 marks. Okay. Say you have not got this final answer right. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು 2 mark. Say you've got one of this, half of mark you can give for this. If this is not right, otherwise you give 2 marks. Okay, 1,32,800. Next. This one. Statement of total cost ಇಲ್ಲಿ staff salary, repairs to building, laundry, interior, miscellaneous expenses, depreciation on building 12 lakh, depreciation on furniture and equipment 9 lakh, then room attendants wages 15 per day for 43,200 days. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ give separate 1 mark for this. Okay. Total rent to be charged, if it is correct, you give 3 marks for that. 57,13,750. Okay. Balance total rent divided by equivalent full room days. 57,13,750 divided by 36,000. Right, is equal to 158,7 to room rent during season and then off season. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ 1 mark each. 158.72 and 79.36. Okay. Clear? All right. Next is standard costing. KPR Limited operates a system of standard costing in respect of this. So they've given the information with a single cost center. The standard cost of the product is as under. Okay, so they've given all the information, production schedule for the month of June and all this. Okay, selling price to be fixed and also to allow a markup of 20% on the selling price. Calculate the material variances on consumption of material. Calculate labor variances and total variance of factory overhead. Prepare income statement for June 13 showing actual gross margin. An incentive scheme is in operation in the company whereby employees are paid a bonus of 50% on direct labor saved at standard direct labor hour rate. Calculate the bonus amount. Okay, so illi ivaga yes, so if you've got this direct material cost variance, right, standard cost minus actual cost 65,040 adverse. You could have solved it in our way. There's no problem, chart form, whatever. Final answer is important and the formulas are important. Okay na, final answer and formulas. Yes, for this 2 marks. Okay, final idikke 2 marks for these each of this half of mark. So 1 mark for this half and half, so total 2 marks. 1 mark for 65,040 adverse if you've got, 61,680 adverse half mark, 3,360 adverse half mark. Okay, this is material variance. Next, labor variance and overhead variances. Okay, idralli so again labor rate variance idakke half mark, labor rate variance half mark 24,240 adverse. Next, labor efficiency variance 5,040 favorable half mark. Okay, 1 mark. So 1 mark for this 19,200 adverse and 1 mark for this 47,456 favorable. The labor variance and overhead variance. Next, preparation of income statement. Okay, illi if you've got the selling price correct, you give 1 mark for this. If you got the selling price correct, that is direct material, direct labor, factory overhead, factory cost, margin 25% on factory cost, selling price 42. Idikke 1 mark. Okay, again here for this income, then you prepare this income statement where calculation of unit selling price, ಇಲ್ಲಿ sales 16,80,000 less standard cost on goods sold 13,44,000, 3,36,000 you get. Then less variances adverse, okay, and then add favorable variances, right? So if you've got this 89,280, you give half mark, and then this half mark 54 to 496. Total answer correct idre you give 1 mark. Okay, you give 1 mark for that. Next, computation of bonus. Labor hours saved, standard labor hours into 3, then actual labor hours worked, right? Labor hours saved is 1,680, bonus for labor saved labor 0.5 into 1,680 into 3. Adike 2520. If you've got this answer right, then you give 2 marks. Okay, and give 2 marks for this. Clear? Next. Question 5. Following budgeted information relates to B limited for the year. Okay, so they're given production, sales, selling price, everything. Estimated overhead expenses for the year they've given. Machine department, assembly department, overhead expenses, machine department on the basis of machine hours, on the basis of labor hours. So all this again, this problem is solved in the cost. After a detailed study of the activities, the following cost pools and the respective cost drivers are found. Okay, so this cost pool, cost driver information is given. As per an estimate, the activities will be used by the 3 products X, Y, and Z: machine setup, customer orders, purchase orders. You are required to prepare product-wise profit statement using absorption costing method and activity-based costing method. Okay. So, profit statement using absorption costing method. In this, yes, absorption costing method. Ali sales barutte, right? Sales, you have selling price per your sales units, then selling price per unit, total sales, direct material, direct cost per unit. Then you find out what's the direct cost. Overheads ali, machine department, adike working note number 1 you have, and then assembly department working note number 1, total cost and profit. Okay, so first I'll come to the working note. Ili working note. Okay, this working note, you find out what is the machine department cost and the assembly department cost. Okay, so if you've got this right, machine department cost and assembly department cost, you give half mark for this. Half mark for this 36,80,000, half mark for this 27,50,000. How you found out? They've given on what basis it's calculated. So production units into machine hours per unit, total machine hours you find out, then into rate per hour you find out machine department cost, and this. Half mark for 36,80,000, 27,50,000, half of mark, 1 mark for this working note. Okay. Yes. 1 mark for that. Next, if you've got the total cost right, you give 1 mark. Total cost rate 1 lakh, 15, 5160, 57, 17,500, 56 to 52, 500, and 1,53,000, 55,000, 55,000, 30,000. 1 crore 55 lakh 30,000. So got this right, 1 mark. Okay, if you've got the total profit right, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm showing you this thing. Absorption costing, we're still on absorption costing. Sorry, absorption costing ali total cost correct idre. I'm so sorry. Absorption costing ali, I'm not yet come to ABC. Absorption costing ali total cost correct idre, you give 1 mark. For that working note of this, okay, if that is right, you give half of mark, right? Total cost ke 1 mark, profit ke 1 mark. Profit ke 1 mark, that is 7 lakh minus 7 lakh, 15 lakh 20 minus 4 lakh 50, total 3 lakh 70. Okay, total 3 marks for this. Okay, next, profit statement using activity based costing method. Using activity based costing method. Under that again, so first we'll go to the working notes. Calculation of cost driver rate now. Okay, calculation of cost driver rate. if this is right, if all of this is right, calculation of cost driver rate, if all of this is right, yes, that is 3.5 for machining services, assembly services the 2, setup cost 50, order processing 50, purchasing 250. Okay, if all of this is right, then you give 1 mark for this. Sorry, 2 marks for this.
Sir,
Yes.
I did not do that separate working note for this calculation.
Which calculation?
Cost driver rate, sir. Rate per cost driver.
How did you find out the cost driver rate then?
The directly in the statement, activity-based costing, that statement.
You have to do no. That is how we have got also. Cost driver rate now
Okay,
marty
sir.
separate. Okay. If they at least there, at least a little nodi. Even there, if somewhere that rate that those answers should come, whatever I'm using, no, that the full ratios are hackpitra.
Yes, sir.
Not suggested. Please use the cost driver rate. Okay. Cost driver rate, you have to follow this step. And that is how I've taught in the class also. I've never taught you to skip this table, right? A table Mardi, adike 2 marks. Cost driver rate. Okay. Next. Yeah. Next, this calculation of activity-wise cost. Using that cost driver rates, then you will find out these costs, right? So for this, each you give half mark. If all is right, then plus half, 3. Okay. Each you give half. So machine survey, machining service cost to 10 lakh 50, 11 lakh 20, 10 lakh 50, 32 20. Then assembling services 12, 6 lakh 40, 3 lakh 60, 22 lakh. Setup cost 22 lakh 25, 1 lakh 50, 75, 4 lakh 50. Then order processing cost 1 lakh 10, 1 lakh 20, 1 lakh 30, 3 lakh 60. And then 75,000, 87,500, 37,500, 2. Okay. 3 marks. Next, coming back to the main answer. Profit statement using activity-based costing, right? Actually everything will be just copy paste from the working note only. Okay, this working note in bandide. So here, if your total answer is right, you give 2 marks. Profit do 6 lakh 60, illi 14 lakh 82 500, and Z 4 lakh 82 500, total 3 lakh 70. Illi you give 2 marks. Clear? Okay. Yes, next. Moon Limited produces X, Y, and Z and has decided to analyze its production mix in the following. So they've given this ratio, rate per hour, department A, B, hours per unit of Z. From the current budget, further details are as below. Annual production at present in units, and then estimated selling price per unit. Sales department estimates of possible sales in the coming year in units. Okay. There is a constraint on supply of labor in department A, and its manpower cannot be increased beyond its present level, right? Identify the best possible product mix in Moon Limited. Calculate the total contribution from the best possible product mix. Okay. So other though, ivaga statement showing contribution of the calculation of contribution per unit, right? So illi, if you've got the ranking right, you give 2 marks. Okay. Contribution per hour, and then if you got the ranking right, you give 2 marks. That is contribution on the limiting factor of hours. Okay. You got this right, 1, 2, and 3. That is 12, 10, and 8. Then you give 2 marks. Next, existing hours is equals to 2,80,000 hours, best possible production mix, possible hours of making. So they found out what's the total hours. Okay. If you've got this 2,80,000 hours, you give half mark for that step. Okay. Next. All right. And if you've got product X, 12,000 units, product X 12,000 units as required for this. So this obviously you follow, please follow our method. Okay, ali 2 columns ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ? Hello. Yes, you follow
Yes,
caps
sir.
material method only. Okay, it doesn't have to be in this way. Okay, only finally this is the answer you should get. Product X 12,000, product Y 16,000, and then 9,600. If you've got each of this right, then you give half of mark here. Okay, you give half of mark there. Okay, total contribution correct idre idu 1 mark. Okay, so sorry, ನಾನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. I had to double each of this. Okay, what I have told I had to double ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Okay, where I have told half you give 1 mark, where I have told 1 you give 2 marks ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Everything else is fine. Okay, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ the total contribution you give 2 marks if this is correct. Wherever I told half you give 1 mark ಅಷ್ಟೇ. That will be 10 marks. Okay, next question number 6. Journalize the following transactions in the cost books under non-integrated system of accounting. Illi credit purchase of material. So for each of this entry, it will be 1 mark. Okay, for each entry 1 mark. Journalized entries are as follows. So for each entry 1 mark. Stores ledger control account debit to cost ledger control account 27,000, 27,000. Work in progress control account to manufacturing overhead control account 6,000, 6,000. Cost of sales to selling and distribution overhead control account. Wages control account to cost ledger. Illi half of mark odi. Okay, and final stores ledger control account to work in progress control account. Okay, next. Explain the difference between cost accounting and management accounting. The 5 differences is important. So 5, each one of them you give 1 mark. Okay, each 1 mark. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 6 ಇದೆ, but 5 ಬಂದಿರಬೇಕು. It records the quantitative aspect. This is a keyword. Okay, qualitative aspect, qualitative and quantitative aspect. Cost accounting and management accounting difference. Quantitative aspect, illi qualitative and quantitative aspect. Okay, objective, it records the cost of producing a product and providing service. It provides information to management for planning and coordination. Okay, planning and coordination. The keywords is planning and coordination. It provides the cost of producing. Okay, next area, it only deals with cost ascertainment. Cost ascertainment. Okay, it is wider in scope. Okay, it includes financial, accounting, budgeting, taxation, planning, etc. Major is wider in scope. And why is it wider in scope? Okay, next, recording of data. It uses both past and present figures, focused with the projection of figures for future. It uses both past and present. Here, projection of figures for future. Development, its development is related to industrial revolution. Okay, in accordance with the modern business world. Okay, modern business world. Rules and regulation, it follows certain principles and procedures for recording costs of different products. It does not follow any specific rules and regulations. Okay, because it is based on the management requirements. So okay, no specific rules and regulations. This has cost accounting has certain principles and accounting. Okay, so for each difference 1 mark. Define zero-based budgeting and mention its various stages. Okay, so is an emergent form of arises and then overcome the limitations in incremental traditional budgeting system. It is defined as a method of budgeting which requires each cost element to be specifically justified, although the activities to which the budget relates to are being undertaken for the first time. Illi that first time barbeku, right? First time. And you can also use that it is a scratch, is a budget from scratch. Those words also. It basically explaining that this from the first time, right? First time and budget from scratch, research and analysis for each element of cost, right? For each element of cost, these words barbeku. Adike elladukku half of mark. Okay. Next, stages. These stages you give 2 marks. Stage 6 is to identification and description of the decision packages, evaluation of decision packages, ranking, prioritization of the decision packages, and allocation of resources. Okay. All right. Next, explain the difference between margin and absorption costing again. Okay, margin costing and absorption costing illi again any 5 differences for each 1 mark. Okay, now illi only variable costs are considered. Okay, either fed alla fixed, both fixed and variable costs are considered for absorption costing. Okay, only variable costs are considered for inventory valuation. Okay, product costing and inventory valuation. Illi both fixed and variable are considered for inventory valuation. Next, fixed costs are regarded as period cost, and the profitability is judged by their PV ratio. Okay, illi profitability is under marginal costing is judged by PV ratio. Under absorption costing, fixed costs are charged to the cost of production. Each cost bears a reasonable share of fixed cost, and thus profitability of a product is influenced by the apportionment of fixed costs. Okay. Here, profitability is influenced by the apportionment of fixed cost. Here, main profit is judged by the PV ratio. Okay. Cost data presented highlights the total contribution of each product. Okay, here contribution is highlighted. Cost data, how is it presented? In a conventional manner, net profit of each product is determined after subtracting the fixed cost along with the variable cost. Okay, conventional pattern is followed, and what is that pattern? But the net profit, how is it arrived? Here, basically, how is the presentation done on that? Okay, first you here contribution is arrived, from that fixed cost is deducted, and then you arrive at net profit. The difference in the magnitude of opening stock and closing stock does not affect the unit of production. Okay, it does not affect the unit cost of production. Why? Because it is variable cost valuation. The difference in the magnitude of opening stock and closing stock affects the unit cost of production due to impact of related fixed cost. Okay, if you remember, we did that a reconciliation if you remember, when you do absorption costing versus marginal costing problem, right? So at our table bucket, this is the point. Okay, here basically what opening stock and closing stock difference does not affect the cost of production. It affects the cost of production because of the impact of related fixed cost. In case of marginal costing, the cost per unit remains the same irrespective of the production as valued at variable cost. Okay, so cost of production is same. In case of absorption costing, the cost of production reduces as the production increases, as fixed cost which reduces, whereas the variable cost remains the same per unit. Okay, here it will change on the absorption costing. Why? Because total cost is used. Yes, for valuation of each product. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One more. The fringe benefit and bad debts.
Okay, 1 second. How do you deal with the following in cost account? Sorry, I missed that thing. 1 second. Yes, fringe benefits and bad debts. Okay, for each 2.5 marks. Illi fringe benefits, these are additional payments or facilities provided. So for writing what fringe benefits is, you give 1 mark. Okay, for writing what it is, you give 1 mark. Okay, these benefits are given in the form of overtime, etc. All that. Okay, these indirect benefits stand to improve the morale, loyalty. So what have they asked? How do you deal with the following in cost accounts? Okay, first, more importance you should give to how it is dealt with in cost accounts. If the amount of fringe benefit is considerably large, it may be recovered as direct charge by means of supplementary wage or labor rate. Otherwise, these may be collected as part of production overheads. In the case, you give another 1.5 mark. Okay, for this major, this is 1.5 mark. You can give 1 mark for just writing all the story of what that fringe benefits is. Okay, total 2.5 marks for this. Next, how do you deal with bad debts in cost accounting? There is no unanimity among authors of cost accounting about the treatment of bad debts. One is that should be excluded from cost. Okay, it should be excluded from. According to this view, bad debts are financial losses, and therefore they should not be included in the cost of a particular job or product. Okay, so it is financial in nature. Financial, adike 1 mark. Okay, should not be included in the cost, or this for that you give 1 mark. Okay, this is one view. For the second view, should form part of selling and distribution overheads. Okay, and how is that? Extraordinarily large date should not be included in the cost of accounts, for that 1 mark. Should form a part of S&D, for that 1 mark. Okay, allige sorry, Vike, I told sorry, idik half mark, S&D ge half mark, idik half mark kodi. So 1 mark illagutte. For the first part, it is financial in nature, adik 1 half mark. Financial in nature and how it should be dealt, right? Are financial losses and they should not be included in the cost of a particular job, for that half mark. So half mark, illu half mark. Why? It is S&D adike half mark, not included in the sorry, and where it should be put adike half mark. External large dates adike half mark. If all points are there, then full marks, 2.5. Okay. Yes. I hope I covered all questions now.
Yes, sir.
Don't. Okay, so don't worry. Now you at least know reasonably idea iವಾಗ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ, correct? How you're supposed to answer and everything. ಇವಾಗ which was the lengthiest problem adunna. So for example, why everybody is not able to complete andre, if you ask me, this ABC related question was there. No, that's really lengthy. Why? Because there's so much of calculations involved. Okay, this one, see, this will take a lot of time for you to compute, alva, this whole table. This is very time consuming. After that, you're supposed to do this cost over rate. This takes so much time. This whole table will take so much time. And then this, you see, this, the answer itself goes to pages together. Avagainagutte, for 10 marks, it's really not worth spending so much time. See, if it was only ABC related also, okay, ABC ide plus absorption costing ide, adarthu madbek. So it's a lengthy question. Okay, there you would, if you have picked this question, you would have spent a lot of time answering this question, alva. So there you have to be smart. See, how do I decide now which question I should attempt? First is question number 1 compulsory, right? If it is reasonably easy question, then you can attempt that only first, either question number 1 or question number 6, depending on what you think you can answer best. Aita, question number 1 bounces idre, don't go. But normally 90% of the time easy irutte. If that is the case, if you can do question 1, then do question 1. If you're strong in theory, then attempt question 6 first. Aita, whatever first question you do, that's the first impression you're creating with the valuer. Please remember, first question should be excellent. Okay, the way you write, most try to get perfect marks, so that because you're creating a good impression with the valuer. Question number 6, just because it is theory and you can answer it fast, ada, you know half of anta, don't answer that first if your quality of the answer is low. Okay, so question 1 easy agidre, you think you can score full marks or maybe 90% of the marks, write that first. Okay, it will save time also, and you might get 19 on 20 or 20 on 20 also. Excellent. It creates a good impression on the valuer, and somewhere psychologically it will impact how we value the rest of the paper. Point 1. Next, you have to choose now 4 out of the remaining 5, correct? In that, say one question gottilla, full stop, right? You don't know that question, you can't answer, so answer the remaining 4. Say you know all the 5 remaining 5 questions, then you have to choose one among them. How will you choose, right? Then you go with the one with the least time consuming, right? Then you go with the one with least time consuming, because then I would suggest you not to go with that ABC question that would have consumed a lot of your time. Yes, see, it is not just about getting your answers right, it is about planning in those 15 minutes of what you will write first, what you will write second, what you will write third, in that for a proper order of questions. Clear? So in that 15, don't just write what you start with, make a proper plan in your head. First question, second, third, fourth, what will be your order of questions? Adanna alli rough circle somewhere, you just write it down. Okay, you write this first, then this second, this third, fourth, and then fifth. Clear? Alli you will save a lot of your times when you're writing, because so many of them will be like, oh, idun madla first, adun madla, confusion. Don't be confused, right? So very simple. Do not start with standard questions which you think is standard, alva. So for me personally, nange standard question I might find very simple, because I'm a capset. I know for maybe some of them find standard question very standard. Nange is very simple. If you see how the topics are, easy questions will be lengthy. Okay, so called easy for them in the market. so called easy in the market will be lengthy. ABC is easy, lengthy irutte. Standard question idre adu time consuming kammi irutte. Okay, so if you are master, if you are expert, you can really reduce time with the standard costing, picking such questions I'm talking about. Okay, so simple again, you should know what is the order of questions. In that, the first question, let it be the best impression and easy question, both. Okay, easiest question which you can get complete marks, almost complete marks, and create a good impression with the valuer. That's the first question only. Then theory question also, if you want, it could be a second or third depending on your comfort level. ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬರೆಯೋಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ. BCom answers if you write, you won't get marks in theory. Okay, you know point wise, you think you've read these points and you can do it, then it is very time saved. Theory badre, that is when you complete the paper by choosing theory questions. Okay, say you are very well prepared and you can answer all 600, then please do. Avaga your first 5 should be the best 5, last one should be the least confidence question. Artha aita? Okay, sir, you say anagtire sir 5 question madak agtira, ನೀವು 6 question madak ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, you never know, sometimes you might surprise yourself, Shreya. Okay, yes, anyone has any other doubts? I think you have a session, so I want to conclude it fast. Nimge 7 o'clock session alla? Yes, you rest remaining enidre you can rest. Okay, I'll stop the screen sharing and end the session.